And now.
Yes.
Swear now, please, surely, to me.
It's kind of not translatable, but it really adds energy or, what's the word? Emphasis to it.
Zeal.
So now, emphatically and energetically, swear to me.
Yeah. What we know, it's an imperative. I think we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what stem is it?
I'm gonna throw Hifil out there.
No, don't be relying on that card so much.
Gosh, you're just a card liar.
If it were a Hifil, what would we expect vowel-wise?
A Hirik Yod.
We'd expect to see a Hirik Yod. We'd expect to see an A-class vowel into the performative. This seems like a goofy thing. Dagish and the Sheen, what is it telling you? Nifal. It seems like a goofy thing, but some forms of the Nifal have a hay on the front of them, and the imperative is one of them. And so remember that. And again, those cards are great, but you got to start weaning yourself off of that. By now, you really should be weaned off of that card pretty much. There you go.
I'm just studying for the Greek. There's two sides.
To every story.
I've got Spanish on mine. I can figure it out why.
Yeah,
it's Italian.
All right, so that's the. At least you ought to be using that card to check yourself before you read. Be making a guess, check yourself, and go if you didn't get it. At least go don't resort to the card first and go sweet. If you had to resort to the card and you were wrong, you at least have to go,
I'll start doing that before I look at it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and now.
All right. Really, really swear to me by Yahweh.
Yeah.
Because.
Why should they swear, right? Subordinate clause.
It's almost like I did kindness with you or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Dealt with you kindly, maybe? Something like that?
Exactly. And how do you translate chastisement? You might even bring in the idea of loyalty there, because I did with you a loyal thing, or I was loyal with you, or something like that.
Okay.
It's loyalty, it's kindness. It's almost one of those it is a hard word, it's almost one of those words that you can't translate. I was loyally kind to you.
Okay. So because I was loyally kind to you, and so you do also is that F with Tem? So with you, or or Atem? Are you and also those with you, with the house of my father?
Yes, I think that's
act with loyalty and give to me a sign of truth.
Okay. All right, good. So are you beginning to think clause-wise and see what's happening here? Yeah. Looking at the main clause, maybe looking at the... So the main clause here is swear to me by Yahweh. And then those others, give a reason, because. And then we have the content of what she wants him to swear. And it's a preterite, so it seems to me that is a past tense used because she wants it to be so sure in the future, speaking of it in the past, right? All right. Can you do 13, Ed?
I have no idea.
Well, let's see.
And
Keep alive.
What's it from?
no, is it from Chaya?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what stem is it?
Hiphil?
Yeah.
So cause them to live.
Yeah, cause to live, and then definite direct object marker.
My father and my mother and my brother and my brothers and my sisters.
Okay. Now here we have. See that little circle over that? That's sister. We have a Ketiv Karei. The Ketiv is in the text. Karei, if you go to the right and see that Kof in the margin, there's the Karei. That will give you the plural form, sisters.
You're assuming she has more than one.
Yeah. All right, good.
Sister, or Z, and all who are for them.
Okay, but yeah, literally. You might in English say with them.
With them.
Or who are theirs or something like that.
And save their lives from death.
Well,
their souls.
Save whose soul? Our soul. Right, from death. Okay, that's very good. Kim, you want to take off on the next verse?
I sure can try.
All right.
And they said to her, I know this word.
You know that.
Is it a pronoun of some sort?
It's a plural.
Yeah.
But it's an odd plural.
It's kind of a manly word.
So, like you're surrounded by it.
It's masculine.
Really masculine.
The men?
Yeah.
So the men said to her,
Mm-hmm.
no. Our lives, our soul.
Mm-hmm. No, talk can mean under, but here it's instead of in exchange for you.
In exchange for.
So our soul in exchange for you to death. If
the negative.
Nagad. And it's a Hiphil because they have a class vowel under the performative and the hirikyod and the Nagad, the noon of the stem, is assimilated into the gimel there. So if you do not report our our business, our thing.
Oh,
right?
the Devar.
Yeah, Devar.
Devar-enu.
Yeah, Devar things really, but our business, right? Devar can mean a matter, word, thing. Right? So you can imagine what he's saying. All right.
And that's from Hayah, right?
Yeah. All right. And it will be, now we have, this is Natan, this is the definitive construct of Natan, believe it or not, the Tate.
Oh.
And it will be when Yahweh gives to us the land, we will do with you loyal kindness and truth. That's not very good English, but you get the idea. Right? Who wants to do 15?
Sure.
I can, no, we
No.
can take a break, I got it. No, I don't.
Yarad here. It's kind of an odd deal. You don't have
Let
any.
down.
Yeah, it's a Hiphil. She let them down.
With a cord.
Okay, with a cord, with a rope.
Maybe it was her hair.
By Abe, no, it's Rapunzel.
Oh.
Well, we could make she was submissive.
Away from.
Through
Okay.
window.
That
We'll make this a group of
Because her house
was hooked up with the wall.
I would say her house was on the. And you really have to worship all, but her house was on the edge of the wall or outside of the wall, and
Her lattice?
on the wall she lived. And
she said
she said to them, "Go to the hills, lest they encounter you, those pursuing." Remember, those pursuing encounter you, and hide yourself. Right? That's a nifal, chava, and
hide yourself there.
Yeah, hide yourselves there, directed hay, 3 days until the pursuers return, and after you will go. In English, we might say on your way. You know, with the long.
I think it's on your merry way.
It could be. Is that the horse of the long one?
Which one?
Okay.
How do we know I know it is, but how do we know that it's a nifal in Vanach Beitem?
Say it again now. Oh,
How do we know it's nifal in Vanach Beitem?
I gotta find my place again.
Second line is
Yeah, okay, good. Because the vocabulary is hava, and so you have nach, beitem. The dagish is in a beit because of the silent shiva. So what is the nifal doing there? Well, it's either a 1CP prefix, but then that doesn't fit the 10, u 10 nu. So you hide, so that nifal has to mark the noon has to mark the nifal. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
It's irregular. It looks like, to me, at least. And then the hay is dropped off. It's a weak verb, so that's one of those things where, if you really want to be sure, you look it up.
Is that the Darvish in the bait? The hay?
No, hay doesn't do that.
Okay.
That Darvish is in the debate because it's a big letter following a silent shalom. All right. Well, those on the tape can have it long or short or not at all, but we'll take a short break and come back to you in just a moment after a word from our sponsor. Through Psalm 11, which is on page 1094 of my Bible. And let me see. This one's a little bit interesting because the superscription in Hebrew is not a separate verse. It's at the beginning of verse 1. It's a short superscription, Lamnat Seach LaDavid, which means the Psalm of David. Adam, how about you do the rest of verse 1?
In Yahweh, I seek refuge.
All right.
How can you say to my soul, flee to your mountain, O bird?
Pretty good. All right. That's kind of a hard verse, isn't it? how can somebody belittle him when he's seeking refuge in Yahweh? All right. Let's see. Who wants to do verse 2?
I'll do it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Nick, Knack, Paddywhack, giveth the dog a bone.
Oh man, good.
A bow, sorry.
I think it's Psalm 11. We're from 11.
Okay. All right. 2. Because, and nay, behold, Harashim, the wicked ones. Behold, the wicked ones bend their bow.
Okay, yeah, draw their bow. Yeah.
And they establish or set.
Yeah, this, kun here, it means establish or prepare, something like that. But in the polel, as this is, the doubling of the noon, it is a particular word for to put an arrow to the string of a bow.
Which is what that says.
Yeah. So they knock the arrow.
Shoot.
Upon a string, okay, now to shoot.
In the darkness to the heart. I'm missing something.
Yishrei. Yashar. They shoot toward. Help him. Okay, the upright. Yeah, the upright. The upright of heart. And that's a masculine plural construct. Layishrei. Notice that masculine plural construct ending. All right. Nice.
I'll do that one since you got that.
All right, 3.
No, the key here, I'm not sure why or how it gets translated, but if the foundations are thrown down, what can the righteous do? Work.
All right, well, let's see. That's going to be the main clause there is what will the righteous do, or what do the righteous do? And then, key, the foundations are destroyed, or however you want to translate that. So what sort of clause is that? It's a subordinate clause. And let's just see if we can find this on page 173.
Sounds conditional.
Conditional clause, real conditional clause, they're most often introduced by the particles ki, im, or hain. And here you have ki.
So it's really diverse.
It is very diverse. We believe in it. So if the foundations are destroyed, what will the righteous do? Or what do the righteous do? Or something like that. All right. Well, I think that was a fine job. Well, we have Kimberly left. So maybe Kimberly could do verse 4.
The Lord is in His holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven? Heaven?
Yeah, you certainly do it that way. The Lord is on His heavenly throne is actually how I prefer to do. Can you see that, everybody? The Lord, Ba Shemayim, in the heavens, and then his throne. Can you see the definite article? Ba Shemayim. Where's the definite article? The Patak and the Dagesh and the Sheen. That's the definite article there. So, in the heavens, his throne. I think Yahweh is, right? Noun clause. Yahweh is on his heavenly throne. One way to do that. You did it a fine way as well. Go ahead.
Okay. His eye sees.
Yeah, but that's dual, so his eyes.
His eyes see.
His eyes see.
His eyelids
Yeah.
examine
Okay.
the sons of men.
All right. The sons of Adam. So your children should read that verse. Adam.
I'll beat it into her.
Well, you have to wait till you have a boy.
Well, sons is in the plural can mean children, not necessarily just men.
I'll give you that.
Not just man children.
Okay. Very nice. Who would like to do verse 5?
Sean, you want me to?
Yes.
Or Sean?
Adonai test the righteous, both the wicked and those who love violence. His soul hates.
Okay, very good. Now, you did this differently than they did. You didn't break where they broke. They broke with Yahweh test the righteous and the wicked. And the one who loves violence, his soul hates. But it makes sense the way you did it too. What would be one way of determining which might be more correct?
Understanding clauses.
Yes, understanding clauses, but we can get out our accent sheets here. And we see. Yeah, the Atnach's not helping us here, really, is it? Because the Atnach is way late, and so this first cola, the first colon has to break before the Atnach. So I want to make sure I am in my on the side of my card that says in Libris Salmorum Job Proverbiorum, in those books. So we're going to find out what accent do we have after tests. Yiv Khan. Well, it seems to me that after Yiv Khan we have the second strongest disjunctive accent, and in poetry the third is the Atnach. So this is the second strongest disjunctive accent. So
is that the one under Yiv Khan? Is that what?
Yeah.
Under the Kate? Is that what you're looking at?
under the K, but that has two parts. On top of the Yod, you also see
The caret.
a little sideways caret there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, what's the one under Var Rashad? If I actually have
With the 16? How that is?
well, look where it is on the word.
It's 9.
It's 9. So that's a weaker disjunctive accent. So maybe there's even a little bit of planned ambiguity here. But the way you did it, I think, would be supported by the accent.
So maybe because
Yahweh tests the righteous, and the wicked, and those who love violence, his soul hates.
if it's supposed to be disjunctive, maybe it's but instead of and.
It could be. But in poetry, the disjunction doesn't mean there is, a but kind of relationship. It doesn't mean it's adversative necessarily. Because it could be a synonymous pair. I mean, it could be, giving a reverse, day is light but night is dark, or it could be day is light and sun shines bright. That was cool with that rhyme, wasn't it? All right. So the accents. Now remember, the accents are not part of the most original text, but the accents would support your reading of that. But it's interesting that there's a disjunctive accent after the next word too. So it's almost as if the wicked, and it's almost as if the wicked being out of order in the first colon, in a sense, right? Because righteous comes before the verb. Maybe Yahweh tests the righteous and the wicked and those who love violence his soul hates. Maybe there's a planned ambiguity there. But if I had to choose, I think I would do it the way that Adam did it, based on the accent. Did you check that accent before?
No.
Pretty impressive. All right, let's see.
Zane.
Sean, why don't you take off on verse 6 and see how well you can do?
Chuck Norris isn't afraid. Okay. He rains coal over the wicked ones. And I would have kept going, but there's that. We just talked about it.
Yeah, see, there's a disjunctive. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? And in fact, and then the next, then the Aish, and then the Vagaf Reet word has that same number 9 accent on it, doesn't it?
Fire and brimstone. And the
Ruach, wind here.
Yes, okay. And the wind of raging heat is the portion. Is there cup's
Yes.
portion?
Is the portion of the cup. That's right. And this is a noun clause, isn't it? We have to add the verb is for this clause.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounded good.
Interesting, there's a summit after that word there too. Kind of a mild paragraph number. Okay. Let's see. Cyrus?
Yes. Okay. For because God is righteous.
Well, not God.
Yahweh.
That's right.
Sorry. V-I-M is righteous. And he loves those that are righteous. Or the righteous ones.
Probably righteousness,
He loves righteousness.
because it's feminine there.
Righteous slaves.
Could be. All right.
And let me finish. Hold on. So close, you know. And the straight and the upright he sees before him.
Well,
For their face.
well, yes,
His
who
face.
is not singular.
It's not singular face. Okay. They see his face.
Well, there's a bit of controversy here whether it's the upright will see his face, or even the upright will see his face, or his own face. the upright will see their face. The numbers aren't matching. The number of these words are not matching here. So
No wonder I struggle.
it's a little bit unclear what's actually happening. I mean, typically it will be taken, the upright will see the face of God. But it is interesting to contemplate whether or not an upright person has a glimpse of his own face. That is, remember the eyes of God are watching and the eyelids are testing the sons of man. And maybe does the upright have an ability to see themselves in the way that they are. I don't know if that's what this is saying, but it's maybe a possibility. Maybe find ambiguity again. Maybe the trouble with the numbers here gives us a hint of that. But we can't resort to planned ambiguity too much. All right, well, that's Psalm 11. Thank you for your efforts, and we will see you next time. Remember, you're preparing for the final, even this week. Oh, that was quite a reading.